I refuse to go through with it, Tom. Have you lost your senses? Marcus Crawford gazed at his phone screen, where a message from a former classmate shone with an air of accusation. Let's go, Marcus. You still owe me for that physics final back in senior year. Tom's voice echoed through the speaker, a hint of static adding to the atmosphere. After all, it's merely one evening. Marcus turned his comfortable chair away from his standing desk, looking out at the San Francisco skyline from his penthouse office. Holding the position of CEO at Crawford Tech came with its advantages, yet it also meant that individuals like Tom Martinez believed they could request favors. 10 years have passed, Marcus murmured, as he scrolled through the digital yearbook photos Tom had shared, and I didn't even know her back then. Precisely. You may not have known Sarah Chin personally, but you observed the way others interacted with her. Your efforts were non-existent. The allegation lingered ominously in the atmosphere. Marcus scrolled through the images, pausing at one that sent a jolt of unease through him. Sarah Chin, in her final year, attempts to conceal herself behind her thick glasses and braces, her shoulders drawn in as if to render herself unseen. She has become a doctor now, Tom continued. Child-focused surgical specialist. Quite remarkable for the girl everyone referred to. Stop, Marcus interrupted him. We were young and carefree. It was foolish. Show that you've matured. Invite her to the alumni ball. Marcus closed the photos and accessed the latest stock prices for Crawford Tech. She is unlikely to agree. Give it a shot regardless. Demonstrate to her that not all individuals from that time were bad. I wasn't unkind to her. Actually, you were even more disappointing. Your lack of concern was evident. Marcus's finger lingered just above the end call button. What makes you so invested, Tom? A moment of stillness. I found myself among the least skilled. I am working to set things straight. Through my utilization, by allowing her the opportunity to reveal her true self to everyone, and perhaps even enlightening you in the process. Marcus accessed his calendar application. The alumni ball loomed just 6 weeks ahead. All right, I'll get in touch. However, when she declines, the responsibility falls on you. Agreed. Tom felt an overwhelming sense of relief. Her professional contact information can be found on the alumni website. What about Marcus? Thanks a lot. Once he ended the call, Marcus fixed his gaze on the phone for a prolonged moment before he opened his browser. A few clicks revealed Sarah Chin's professional profile at Boston Children's Hospital. The headshot captured a woman in a white coat, her glasses perched on her nose, her expression remaining carefully guarded. His fingers danced over the keyboard. Dear Dr. Chin, you might not recall our time together at Valley High. My name is Marcus Crawford, and I graduated in 2015. I'm contacting you because our 10-year alumni ball is approaching, and I was curious if you might think about joining me as my guest. He removed it without hesitation. It's a bit stiff, excessively artificial. He made another attempt. Sarah, I was advised by Tom Martinez to reach out to you regarding the upcoming alumni ball. While high school may not have been the most enjoyable experience. Remove. The intercom emitted a sharp buzz. Mr. Crawford, your appointment at 2 o'clock has arrived. Kindly grant me 5 minutes. Marcus inhaled deeply and struck the keys one final time. Hello, Sarah. My name is Marcus Crawford, and I hail from Valley High. To be honest, I find myself uncertain about how to compose this email. Tom Martinez encouraged me to invite you to the alumni ball, but as I write this, I can't help but feel how forward it may come across. We were never truly acquainted during our school days, and I found myself among a group that inadvertently added to your struggles, even if it was merely by my presence. I want to go to the ball with you, not from a sense of pity or obligation, but because I believe we've both changed in meaningful ways. Your journey to becoming a successful surgeon intrigues me, and I would truly love to hear your story. You're welcome to ask me to leave any time. Before he could spiral into doubt, he hit send. As the clock struck 2, he found himself engrossed in the presentation, only to be interrupted by the buzz of his phone, signaling a new notification. A fresh email has arrived from Dr. Sarah Chin. After a long time, Marcus Crawford experienced the unsettling tremor in his hands. Precision instrument. Sarah Chin's voice held a calm composure, even amidst the palpable tension in the operating room. Her team operated with meticulous skill as she concentrated on the delicate features in front of her. Yet another procedure for cleft palate reconstruction. A new opportunity to transform a child's future. The anesthesiologist reported a slight elevation in heart rates. Dr. Chun anticipated at this point. Let us move forward. The steady cadence of surgery anchored her, sweeping away the unease that had lingered since she opened Marcus Crawford's email that morning. In the operating room, she was simply Dr. Chun. There is no record, no traumatic experiences from high school, only adept hands and steadfast concentration. 2 hours later, Sarah removed her surgical gloves and mask, rolling her shoulders to ease the tension. The surgery had gone well, almost like clockwork, yet her thoughts wandered back to the email that awaited a reply. Another flawless repair, remarked Dr. Lisa Wong, her mentor, as they finished scrubbing out. You are our top choice for pediatric facial reconstruction. Sarah offered a faint smile, simply fulfilling my responsibilities. In that moment, Lisa found herself leaning against the sink. The hospital board was impressed by your proposal for the new craniofacial center. They have a keen interest in your focus on providing psychological support for patients. Personal experience helps, Sarah whispered to herself, instantly wishing she could take it back. Lisa's demeanor became gentler. That brings to mind, isn't your high school reunion approaching soon? The nurses were discussing it since Angela is going as well. Sarah dried her hands with an intensity that seemed excessive. This morning, I received a rather intriguing invitation. Oh, Marcus Crawford has invited me to the alumni ball. Lisa's eyebrows arched in surprise. Crawford, the technology expert. He has recently captured media attention. Innovative medical software that transforms the landscape of healthcare. That's him. Sarah glanced at her phone. The email notification lingered, taunting her. This holds importance because Sarah sank into the break room couch, surrendering to the weight of her fatigue. He was among the favored crowd, never intentionally unkind, but she faded into silence, lost in memories of corridors alive with hushed conversations and suppressed giggles. Lisa took her place next to her. And now he aspires to embody Prince Charming? It seems that Tom Martinez might have been the one to encourage him. He conveyed that in the email. Is it Tom Martinez? Was he not the one who initiated the ugly duckling chant during graduation? Indeed, that's the one. Sarah revisited the email once more. At least Marcus was straightforward about it. Lisa glanced back, her eyes trailing over the words. Unexpectedly authentic for someone in such a high position. However, you are not obligated to them, Sarah. I understand. Sarah paced the confines of the small room. Yet a part of me yearns to leave. Not for them, but for my own sake, to demonstrate to them that you achieved success in spite of them. Negative. Sarah paused by the window, gazing at the skyline of Boston. To prove to myself that I have grown beyond that fearful version of myself. She carefully adjusted her glasses. An anxious quirk she had never outgrown. I'm not prepared to face their scrutiny once more. Her phone vibrated softly. Yet another consultation for surgery. Authentic vocation. Take some time to think it over, Lisa suggested. Take your time to make a choice. As Sarah made her way to her next patient, a concept started to take shape. She pondered the masks they occasionally donned, in the planning of reconstructive surgery, in the manner they enable patients to envision opportunities without trepidation. As she made her way through the afternoon rounds, she composed and discarded 4 distinct replies to Marcus. At last, in the intervals between seeing patients, she penned, Marcus, I value your straightforwardness regarding Tom's role. In the spirit of transparency, I have steered clear of all alumni gatherings for clear reasons. Nonetheless, I have an idea to share. I will accompany you to the ball, but there is one stipulation. I shall don a masquerade mask for the entirety of the evening. My visage remains concealed until I decide otherwise. If that feels a bit unusual for you, I completely get it. Sarah. She pressed send before her resolve wavered. Then I was promptly summoned to the ER for a trauma consultation. Hours later, as she wrapped up her notes, that she noticed his reply. Fascinating idea. Shall we chat about it over a cup of coffee? Sarah gazed at her phone, then at her image in the shadowy office window. The identical pair of spectacles, the identical orthodontic treatment she had required once more in her 20s. Yet, the gaze behind those spectacles had transformed. She composed, "Tomorrow at 7 a.m., a blue bottle awaits on Congress Street, prior to my initial procedure." His reply was immediate. "I will be present." Tom Martinez gazed intently at his laptop screen, revamping Marcus's social media presence. For the 10th time that night, there are no new developments to report. There were no indications regarding Sarah's response to the email. "Once more, you're caught up in your thoughts," Rachel, his wife, remarked, placing a cup of tea next to him. "I'm committed," Tom clarified, running a hand through his salt and pepper locks. At 32, he seemed far too youthful to bear such exhaustion. "This must succeed," Rachel balanced on the arm of his chair. "You've never shared with me the significance of this to you." With a heavy heart, Tom shut his laptop, letting out a deep sigh. "Do you recall that box of forgotten treasures I stumbled upon during our move? The one that left you feeling a bit off for a week?" "Indeed." He extended his hand toward the cup of tea. A notebook lay within that space. "From my final year, brimming with unfortunate actions we intended to take against Sarah Chun at graduation." Rachel's expression grew somber. "I took charge of the whole operation." The confession was akin to ingesting shards of glass. "We planned to bring her down one final time, create an unforgettable experience. Yet you chose not to?" "Negative. Had a sudden change of heart at the final moment. Yet I never offered an apology. Never got it right." He retrieved his phone, glancing at it for new messages once more. "Did you know she has become a pediatric surgeon now? Focuses on restorative procedures for children." "Appropriate," Rachel whispered. "Could you clarify what you mean?" "She transforms appearances for a career, having endured ridicule for her own during her adolescence." Tom's phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. A passage from Marcus. "Meeting up with Sarah for coffee tomorrow morning." Content? "Indeed," Tom responded, then continued typing. "Make sure to get this right." Marcus replied without hesitation. "I still don't see why it matters to you." Tom began to type repeatedly before finally deciding on, "You can take my word for it." Rachel glanced at the conversation from behind him. "You haven't mentioned it to him either. What did you tell him?" "I have been making anonymous donations to Sarah's pediatric department for the last 5 years. I keep up with her research publications. Whenever I come across a picture showcasing her achievements, it brings to mind the way we once treated her. Perhaps that would be a good idea." Tom shook his head in disbelief. "This isn't about my own sense of improvement. It's about granting her the evening we attempted to steal from her." Once more, his phone vibrated with a notification. A message from the Alumni Association. The venue requested the final headcount for the ball. As the leader of the association, he would need to begin gathering RSVPs shortly. "You know," Rachel said thoughtfully, "playing matchmaker isn't really the same as making amends. I have no intention of playing matchmaker. I'm offering them an opportunity they've never experienced before." Marcus stood apart from the rest of us in every way. He's more absorbed in his coding than in our trivial games. He accessed her hospital profile. She should confidently enter that ball, linked to the most accomplished individual in our class. What if it goes wrong? Tom reflected on the notebook, now reduced to ash in their fireplace. At last, I will reveal everything to her. Concerning the strategy, the contributions, everything related. Rachel gently pressed her hand on his shoulder. "You're a remarkable individual, Tom Martinez." He made a correction. "I aspire to become one." Another message from Marcus illuminated his phone screen. "What does she like to drink when it comes to coffee?" Tom beamed with delight. There are certain matters that one must unravel independently. At 6:55 a.m., the Blue Bottle coffee shop stood almost vacant as Marcus made his entrance. He requested 2 of each item that seemed suitable for breakfast. The barista, uncertain of Sarah's tastes, arched an eyebrow at the extravagant order, yet chose to remain silent. At precisely 7 a.m., the door chimed. Sarah Chun entered, clad in scrubs beneath a winter coat, her hair neatly secured in a functional ponytail. She took a moment, her gaze sweeping across the room until it landed on him. "You've ordered enough for a whole surgical team," she remarked, settling into the seat opposite him. "I was uncertain about your preferences." He slid the assortment of pastries to the center of the table. "I recall how you would always pack your own lunch for school." She stated plainly that braces made it difficult to enjoy most cafeteria food, opting for a simple croissant. "They remain in my possession as evident." Phase 2 of dental alignment treatment. Marcus made an effort to avert his gaze from the metal brackets. "They appear polished and sophisticated. No need to praise my braces." She savored a sip of coffee. "Let's discuss your email." He adjusted his posture in the chair. "Listen, regarding Tom." "I'm not interested in Tom's motivations," she interrupted. "Your concerns matter to me. What made you decide to go along with this?" Marcus weighed his words with great deliberation. "To be frank, initially due to Tom's ability to influence others." "So, you mean after you searched for me online?" "After learning about your work," he remarked, "I became intrigued. The field of pediatric reconstructive surgery is truly remarkable." Sarah delicately tore her croissant into small fragments. "Is this the moment when you mention that true worth lies in inner beauty? This is the moment I inquire about your concept for the masquerade." He inclined his body forward. "What is the purpose of a mask?" "Because I desire an evening where individuals must engage in conversation with me before forming their opinions." She locked her gaze with his. "Your enterprise specializes in technology solutions. It is essential to grasp the idea of managing variables. So I'm involved in your social experiment? Am I not included in your world?" The inquiry lingered in the air between them. Beyond the windows, the city of Boston was beginning to stir. Thronging streets bustling with travelers. "That's a valid observation," Marcus finally acknowledged. "However, if we proceed with this, establishing some foundational guidelines is essential." With a swift motion, Sarah retrieved her phone. "I have a surgery scheduled in 40 minutes, so let's get to the point. First and foremost, I must keep my identity a secret from everyone at the ball." "Absolutely." Rule 2. You mustn't retreat to a corner for the entire night. Third rule, no photographs. The Alumni Association will feature photographers. Then I depart before the facades are shed. She glanced at the clock. Rule 4. Should anyone inquire, we crossed paths once more at a conference focused on medical technology. Not completely untrue. Last month, I attended MedTech Boston. In that moment, Marcus came to a profound understanding. Clearly, various sessions. Clearly. Sarah rose, collecting her belongings. "This is not a fairy tale romance. I refuse to be seen as your project or a means to your own salvation." "Absolutely." He rose as well. "But what is it, then?" Sarah hesitated, her hand resting on her bag. Two individuals decide to confront their history in a way that feels right for them. She made her way to the door, then paused to look back. "Ah, and Marcus, is that so? Next time, opt for a simple black coffee and a plain croissant. Many prefer simplicity when it comes to breakfast." Once she departed, Marcus gazed at the pristine array of pastries, then shifted his attention to his phone, where Tom's most recent message illuminated the screen. "How did it turn out?" "She accepted," he wrote. "However, I believe we find ourselves in a situation that exceeds our capabilities." Tom's reply arrived swiftly. "Excellent. It's high time you both picked up swimming skills." 2 weeks following their initial encounter, Marcus and Sarah found themselves in a new coffee shop, this time during the late afternoon hours. Medical journals lay scattered across the table between them, accompanied by printouts of previous alumni ball photos. "These masks are awful," Sarah remarked, browsing through pictures from a Venetian-themed fundraiser. "They hardly address any of the important points." "Would you prefer a full-face mask?" Marcus inquired, his gaze fixed on the medical journal he was feigning comprehension of. "Similar to the Phantom of the Opera." I was considering something more elaborate than that. She retrieved her tablet, revealing a design to him. Something along these lines. The drawing depicted a detailed mask adorned with exquisite metal craftsmanship and sparkling crystals, stretching elegantly from the forehead to the cheekbones. He remarked on the high cost. I have the means to cover it. Her tone had a subtle sharpness. Surgeons earn a respectable income. I never intended. I understand your point. She eased a bit. However, this isn't about finances. It's all about control. Marcus placed the journal on the table. May I pose a question to you? It varies based on the inquiry. What is the rationale behind agreeing to this? It would have been possible for you to overlook my email. Move forward with your journey. Sarah paused, her thoughts swirling as she gently stirred her coffee. Have you ever wondered what I share with my patients prior to facial reconstruction? What is happening? Transforming their appearance won't alter their true essence. It simply allows the world to perceive them with greater clarity. She locked her gaze with his. I'm not concealing myself behind the facade, Marcus. I'm compelling others to perceive me in a new light for the very first time. What is it that I am meant to observe? The choice is yours. She meticulously arranged the journals into a tidy stack. However, we must begin with some practice. What should I practice? Making appearances together in public. The event is in 4 weeks. If we arrive without a clear understanding of how to interact, it will be apparent to those around us. Marcus reclined in his seat. What would you recommend? Evening meal, open spaces, everyday dialogues. She glanced at her calendar. I'm available Thursday evening. Are you interested in practicing our dating skills? I aim to cultivate a sense of ease between us, so that our connection is clear and no one wonders about my presence at the ball. She lifted her gaze. Unless that makes you uneasy? Indeed, it follows a clear line of reasoning. He retrieved his phone from his pocket. Thursday is suitable. Where might that be? A tranquil place. There's no possibility of encountering anyone from Valley High. I'm familiar with a spot in Cambridge. A quaint Italian eatery. Flawless. She rose, collecting her belongings. And Marcus. Indeed? Choose something casual. No expensive suits. We are focusing on finding our own ease rather than seeking to impress others. As she departed, Marcus came to the startling realization that he had just consented to a charade of romance, all in preparation for an evening at a ball where masks would conceal their identities. His phone vibrated, signaling a message from Tom. Is there any update? Marcus examined the medical journals that Sarah had abandoned, each filled with articles she had authored. It's a complex situation, he replied. Tom replied without hesitation. Isn't that the essence? Marcus gazed at the message, then shifted his attention to the intricate design of Sarah's mask still laid out on the table. Complexity barely scratched the surface. When do you need it by? The skilled craftswoman, an elderly lady named Eleanor, gazed at Sarah through her half-moon spectacles. In 3 weeks' time, Sarah extended her tablet, revealing the design. I understand it's a bit hurried, but hastily approached? Eleanor chuckled as she accepted the tablet. This cannot be done. The metalwork itself is expected to require a duration of 2 weeks. Sarah felt a heavy weight in her chest. I am willing to offer additional compensation. Take a seat. Eleanor gestured toward a workbench, strewn with masks at different stages of their creation. In a hidden corner of Boston's North End, her studio exuded the distinct aromas of paint and metal polish. Explain the significance of this mask. Sarah sat delicately on the edge of the bench. The situation is intricate. Life simply exists. Eleanor examined the design closely. This is not a mask for Halloween. This is protection. Is that a negative thing? It hinges on the nature of your struggle. Eleanor placed the tablet aside and reached for a measuring tape. Remain in place. While the artisan carefully measured her face, Sarah's gaze drifted to the photographs adorning the walls. Stage performances, masked soirees, intricate attire. For how long have you been crafting masks? For decades. Begun in Venice, guided by my father's wisdom. Eleanor took a step back, jotting down figures in a tattered notebook. Every mask reveals a narrative. What do you have? Sarah paused, uncertainty flickering in her eyes. Reunion of high school alumni. Eleanor's knowing smile left Sarah feeling uneasy. The most challenging arena of all. It isn't quite that way. Absolutely not. Eleanor arched an eyebrow. So, what's the purpose of creating a mask that conceals everything except your eyes? Sarah brushed her fingers over her braces, a hint of self-consciousness in her demeanor. I desire for others to perceive me in a new light. Or perhaps, Eleanor closed her notebook, you wish to perceive them in a new light. It had never crossed Sarah's mind. Could you clarify what you mean? Veiled from view, you can watch without trepidation. To evaluate those who have evaluated you. Eleanor grasped a partially completed mask from her workbench. Exercise caution. Masks have the potential to confine you if you allow them to. Sarah observed as Eleanor started to draft alterations to her design. Is it truly possible to have it completed in 3 weeks? For the perfect narrative, I will bring it to life. Eleanor lifted her gaze. However, we must first discuss the eyes. What is their story? They are the one element that remains exposed. Are you prepared for others to truly notice them? Sarah recalled Marcus, remembering the way he had gazed at her in the coffee shop. Not with disdain or scrutiny, but with authentic interest. Indeed, she replied at last. I believe I am. Eleanor nodded, content with the outcome. Please return next week for a fitting. What about Sarah? What is it? Please provide a picture of the dress. The mask should enhance, not overshadow. As Sarah strolled back to her car, her phone vibrated in her pocket. A message from Marcus. Discovered an ideal dining spot for Thursday. Is it relaxed enough? A photo of a charming trattoria was included. Sarah couldn't help but smile. He was making an effort. Excellent, she responded. Just keep in mind, no $1,000 suits, he replied without hesitation. I will don a pair of jeans. Sarah took a moment before saying, the mask will be ready on schedule. His response arrived promptly. I always believed it. In truth, she hadn't either. Yet, the resonance of Eleanor's words lingered in her thoughts. Masks might transform into prisons. The inquiry lingered. Who was she genuinely attempting to confine? Them or themselves? Marcus lingered in his office during the late hours, fixated on the glow of his computer screen. Sarah's published research papers cluttered his browser tabs. Research on reconstructive procedures for children's faces, cutting-edge surgical methods, evaluations of psychological effects. His assistant Rachel materialized at the door, still present. Simply conduct some research. He swiftly minimized the windows. Regarding Dr. Chun? Once more, Rachel placed a pile of contracts on the table. It seems that most individuals simply scroll through Facebook. She isn't on Facebook. He noticed Rachel's knowing glance. I suppose she isn't. Indeed. Rachel rested her weight against his desk. Curious about what caught my attention? I have no doubt you'll share that with me. The wing of the children's hospital that you supported last year? She is employed there, particularly in the craniofacial unit that you financed. Marcus stood still, caught in a moment of disbelief. Excuse me? Were you unaware? Rachel accessed the hospital's website. Physician, Dr. Sarah Chun, the esteemed lead surgeon at the Crawford Children's Surgical Center. Did they give it a name? You provided them with $20 million. Naturally, they gave it a name. Marcus reclined, contemplating. Is she aware? So, you're the one providing the donation? Most likely not. Your insistence on remaining anonymous was quite strong. He recalled the reason. He despised the thought of attention, of others lauding him for merely signing a check. That choice had a distinct feel to it. The phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. Sarah, Thursday needs to be rescheduled. Urgent surgical procedure? Is everything all right? He responded with a message. A 6-year-old child presenting with facial trauma. It might require several hours. He cast a fleeting look at the hospital's website, where the surgical center proudly displayed his name. Feel free to take as long as you require. How about Friday instead? I appreciate your understanding. Friday is suitable. Marcus gazed intently at the message before shifting his focus to the hospital website. Is that you, Rachel? What's on your mind? Have I made the correct choice? Maintaining a sense of anonymity? Rachel pondered this. It varies. Are you evading acknowledgement? Or steering clear of connection? What sets them apart? It revolves around the essence of humility. The other revolves around fear. Once more, his phone vibrated with a notification. Sarah had shared an image. The mask is currently being crafted. Intricate metalwork is starting to emerge. It is truly beautiful, he penned. It's on its way, she replied. Similar to all other things. Marcus gazed at the array of tabs open in his browser. Her investigation, her achievements, the lives she had transformed. Lives improved in a center he had financed, unaware that she was employed there. Is that you, Rachel? Indeed. Make sure my Friday evening is completely free. Completed. She approached the door, then hesitated. Sometimes the most meaningful connections are the unexpected ones. Once she departed, Marcus delved into one of Sarah's research papers. The introduction stated, in facial reconstruction, success is gauged not by perfection, but by the restoration of function and confidence. He pondered over disguises and wealth, reflecting on the myriad ways individuals conceal their authentic identities. The anticipation for Friday was palpable. Tom Martinez sat at his desk at Valley High, where he now served as vice principal, gazing intently at his phone. The most recent words from Marcus illuminated the display. Dinner had to be rescheduled. She is performing urgent surgery. Are you still in the matchmaking game? Head of the institution, Diana Chen, not connected to Sarah, inquired from his threshold. Not quite. Tom slipped his phone into his pocket. It's more about seeking reconciliation. Diana stepped inside, gently shutting the door behind her. Is this regarding the alumni ball? Kind of. He motioned toward the chair positioned opposite him. Do you recall Sarah Chin? Group of 15? The girl whom everyone... Diana's voice faded into silence. Indeed, her. What about her story? Tom accessed Sarah's hospital profile on his computer, pivoting the screen to face Diana. She has become a pediatric surgeon now, specialist in reconstruction. Diana leaned in, engrossed in the words before her. Remarkable. But how is this relevant to you? I arranged for her to go with Marcus Crawford to the ball. He paused, anticipating Diana's response. Who is Marcus Crawford? The affluent entrepreneur? Diana scowled. What is the reason behind this? Due to... Tom stood, moving back and forth. I treated her terribly. My friends and I, we turned her existence into a nightmare. That was a decade ago. Precisely. For a decade, I've held on to this. He paused at the window, gazing out at the football field where countless acts of bullying had unfolded. Have you heard that I've been following her career closely? That raises some worries. That's not the way. He glanced over his shoulder. I contribute to her department, in a manner that conceals one's identity. I perused her research papers. He reclined into his chair. I'm working to find equilibrium. Diana fell silent for a moment. Is she aware of any of this? Absolutely not. And she is unable to. Not at this moment. What's stopping us? This isn't about my own comfort. He opened the document for planning the alumni ball. It's all about creating that one unforgettable evening for her. The individual we attempted to sabotage during the graduation ceremony. And Marcus, he is distinct from who he was at that time. Concentrated. Determined. Similar to her. Tom offered a faint smile. Last week they shared a meal together. They will convene once more on Friday. Diana rose to her feet. Exercise caution, Tom. Manipulating the fates of individuals. It has the potential to go awry. I'm aware, but witnessing their dynamic in person is something else entirely. They are both incredibly cautious, genuine. He glanced at his phone once more. There are currently no new messages. In their conversations, the facade slips away. Diana approached the door, then hesitated. Do you realize the irony here? Excuse me? You're the one hiding behind the largest facade of all. Once she departed, Tom perused his donation records. The payment to the hospital for next month was approaching its due date. His personal atonement settled in monthly contributions. The device vibrated in his pocket. Marcus discovered something intriguing regarding Sarah's hospital. Tom's heart halted. What is that? I inadvertently provided financial support to her department. A donation made anonymously last year. Tom exhaled deeply. One secret remained untouched. Isn't it amusing how everything falls into place? He replied. As he examined his own donation records, a thought crossed his mind. Perhaps Diana was onto something. Perhaps he donned the grandest facade of them all. That outfit isn't going to work, Sarah said bluntly, her gaze fixed on Marcus's attire during their video call. The ball was set for tomorrow, and they were conducting final checks. What seems to be the issue? Marcus cast a quick look at his tuxedo. It's a bit too. Sarah waved her hand dismissively, executive-like. It's a sphere, he argued. All will be in their finest attire. Indeed, you seem as if you've just emerged from the pages of Forbes, she said while adjusting her laptop screen. The essence lies in seamlessly integrating. Don't forget? Marcus relaxed his bow tie. All right, what are your thoughts? The charcoal suit you donned for dinner last week. Fewer financial facades, greater humanity. He vanished from view, reappearing moments later in the alternate suit. Improved? Extensively. She lifted her own garment bag with a sense of purpose. Care to take a look? Isn't that just unfortunate or something? Those are weddings. As she unzipped the bag, a stunning midnight blue gown emerged, captivating in its elegance. Uncomplicated, refined, devoid of ostentation. It's flawless, he murmured softly. With swift precision, Sarah zipped the bag back up. Elena will be delivering the mask this evening. Last fitting. Feeling anxious? Regarding the idea of donning a mask to shield myself from those who caused me distress a decade ago. She tried to laugh. What reason do I have to feel anxious? Marcus positioned himself nearer to his camera. We still have the option to withdraw. Negative. She was resolute. This is something I must accomplish. Simply, she paused, uncertainty flickering in her mind. Hold on tight to my hand as we step inside. Commitment. He glanced at his watch. On the subject of Elena, I suppose it's time for me to let you go. Indeed. Sarah extended her hand toward her laptop to conclude the call, but hesitated. Is that you, Marcus? Indeed. Thanks a lot. In regard to comprehension. Once the call concluded, Sarah gazed at her image mirrored in the dim laptop display. Her phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. Elena, step outside, clad in your armor, brave one. With a steadying breath, Sarah descended the stairs. Tomorrow will alter the course of everything, for better or worse. Across town, Marcus slipped into his regular clothes, his phone buzzing with a message from Tom. Is everything prepared? Prepared to the fullest extent, he replied. Best of luck, Tom replied. What about Marcus? Look after her well. Marcus gazed at his reflection, making a final adjustment to his tie. I will, he typed, feeling a deeper conviction than he had anticipated. The ballroom of the Grand Plaza Hotel gleamed under the brilliance of crystal chandeliers, its polished marble reflecting elegance and sophistication. Sarah lingered in Marcus's car, her fingers gently exploring the contours of Elena's creation. A mask adorned with silver filigree and delicate crystals that shimmered in the light like glistening teardrops. Are you prepared? Marcus inquired gently. Negative. She fastened the mask, scrutinizing it in the visor mirror. However, let's proceed regardless. As they strolled through the hotel lobby, her fingers intertwined with his, a sense of connection enveloped them. A handful of early arrivals lingered, yet none appeared to acknowledge their presence. At the ballroom entrance, Tom stood ready with name tags and programs in hand. Marcus Crawford, and Tom's voice wavered just a bit. Visitor. Sarah accepted her blank name tag in silence. Marcus tightened his grip on her hand. The room was partially occupied. Sarah encountered familiar faces she had long sought to erase from her memory. Ashley Peters, the one who initiated the unflattering chance. Jason Roberts, who had playfully invited her to prom as a prank. They all appeared more mature, typical, human. Care for a drink? Marcus extended his offer. Kindly. As he made his way to the bar, a voice from behind exclaimed, "Marcus Crawford, is that really you?" Sarah glanced over to spot Jennifer Mills making her way toward her, as striking as ever, effortlessly drawing the eye of everyone around. She halted abruptly upon catching sight of Sarah. "Who might you be?" With a subtle grin hidden beneath her mask, Sarah exuded a quiet warmth. "Whom he is seeing." Jennifer's gaze sharpened. "Have we crossed paths before? There's an intriguing quality about you that feels, I have my reservations." Sarah's voice exuded a sense of tranquility and poise. "I'm not a local." Marcus came back with the beverages. "Is that you, Jen?" He inclined his head with courtesy. "How's LA? You won't believe the exciting news about my new venture." Jennifer began her tale, hardly sparing a look in Sarah's direction. Behind her mask, Sarah observed, analyzed. Those individuals who had once appeared so formidable, so fearsome, now appeared unremarkable. Jen's laughter echoed a bit too boisterously. Her gestures seemed a touch rehearsed. A greater number of classmates drew near. Marcus navigated the introductions with ease, keeping Sarah's identity under wraps. She responded only when addressed, her tone assured, hidden behind a facade of shimmering silver and crystal. "Are you involved in the field of medicine?" A question was posed. "Operation." Her response was straightforward. "What was the story of your first encounter?" "Conference on medical technology." Marcus responded. The polished deception flows effortlessly. As the evening unfolded, Sarah became aware of an unusual occurrence. She felt a newfound courage within her. The individuals who once tormented her no longer held any sway over her life. Their views held no significance. Her phone vibrated with a sudden buzz. A note from Eleanor. "How is the armor faring?" Sarah surveyed the room, her gaze lingering on the faces that had once filled her nightmares. She replied, "I don't think I need it anymore." Eleanor replied without hesitation. "In that case, it is performing precisely as intended." Sarah brushed her fingers against Marcus's arm. "Shall we dance together?" He appeared taken aback, yet delighted. "Absolutely." As they swayed to the rhythm, she glimpsed their image in the ballroom's mirrors. A triumphant individual and a veiled figure, both at last perceiving the truth. "Thank you," she murmured. "For what purpose?" "For allowing me the space to conceal myself until I felt prepared to emerge." His grip on her waist became firmer. "The evening still has much to offer." She grinned subtly beneath her disguise. For the first time, she felt a sense of anticipation about what lay ahead. Ah, the enigmatic lady. Ashley Peters gracefully settled into the seat beside Sarah as dinner unfolded. "What's your hidden gem?" "What I hold close to my heart." With deliberate precision, Sarah placed her fork on the table. "How did you manage to get Marcus Crawford on board?" Ashley inched forward, her wineglass swaying gently from her fingertips. Many of the girls present have been vying for his attention throughout the evening. Sarah sensed the tension radiating from Marcus beside her. "Perhaps I simply posed thoughtful inquiries rather than making a spectacle of myself," she remarked calmly. A short distance away, an individual sputtered on their beverage. Ashley's smile grew strained. "You know," Ashley continued, "your voice has a certain familiarity to it. Did you attend Valley High?" "She attended a boarding school," Marcus interjected effortlessly, "located in Switzerland." "Is that so?" Ashley's gaze sharpened. "And there you found yourselves at a medical conference side by side. How delightful." Sarah adjusted her posture in the chair. "Indeed, Marcus." Tom's voice resonated powerfully across the table. "Your presence is essential for the alumni achievement photo." With a gentle grip, Marcus held Sarah's hand for a moment before rising to his feet. "I'll return shortly." Once he was gone, Ashley sprang into action. "Honestly, who are you?" I'm familiar with all the girls Marcus went out with in high school, and you don't quite fit his typical preference. Sarah paused to take a sip of water, creating a moment of suspense. Behind her mask, she observed Ashley intently. The subtle lines at the corners of her eyes, the fidgety manner in which she kept playing with her hair. What kind of person was he drawn to? Well, you see, attractive and well-liked. Ashley's smile took on a cunning edge. Ordinary. The term lingered in the atmosphere surrounding them. Sarah sensed a change within her. Neither anger nor fear, but rather an unusual sense of compassion. Conformity is dull, she murmured softly. So, Ashley, it seems you haven't changed one bit. Have you? Ashley's glass halted mid-air, suspended just before reaching her lips. Could you repeat that? Just as Sarah was about to reply, Marcus made his entrance once again. Is everything all right here? Excellent. Sarah rose to her feet. Ashley was lost in thought, reflecting on those high school days, weren't you? Ashley gazed at her, understanding gradually taking shape. Hold on, you can't be. Movement? Sarah faced Marcus, dismissing Ashley's stammering. On the dance floor, Marcus drew her near. Are you all right? Superior to satisfactory. Sarah observed Ashley leaning in closely, her voice low and animated as she spoke to Jennifer Mills. It seems they are beginning to understand. Thinking of departing? No. She leaned her head gently against his shoulder. For the very first time, I wish to remain. Across the room, Tom observed them dance, a subtle smile gracing his lips. His phone vibrated, signaling a message from the hospital's donor portal. Contribution for the month has been received. He gazed at Sarah, poised and elegant behind her mask, while Marcus remained transfixed by her presence throughout the evening. At times, he pondered, salvation arrived through unforeseen paths. The melody shifted to a more languid tune. Sarah and Marcus continued to dance, unaware of the murmurs swirling in their vicinity. The mask reflected the light, casting intricate patterns on the floor reminiscent of a starry sky. Is that really the case? Jennifer Mills confronted Sarah near the restroom. Are you truly? Sarah repositioned her mask. What exactly? Sarah Chin. Jennifer's voice fell to a hushed tone. Ashley insists it's you. The corridor abruptly seemed constricted. Sarah cast her eyes toward the ballroom, where Marcus engaged in conversation with a few of his old classmates. Would it make a difference if I were? Sarah inquired. Jennifer displayed an air of unease with a touch of elegance. Let's talk about high school. Refrain. Sarah raised her hand. I'm not seeking any apologies. So what brings you here? Sarah pondered the question. Behind the mask, she observed Jennifer's expression. The doubt reflected in her gaze, the subtle shake of her fingers. Ultimately, Sarah admitted, it was because I needed to see something. Excuse me? That you all are simply individuals. Not creatures. Not deities. Simply imperfect, everyday individuals who committed unkind acts during their youth. Jennifer recoiled. We were young. Indeed, we were. Sarah adjusted the fabric of her dress with a gentle touch. And now we have reached adulthood. Let's embrace that mindset. She pivoted to depart. However, Jennifer seized her arm. Hold on. I have a child. Sarah came to a halt. Is that all right? She'll be entering middle school next year. And I can't help but feel a sense of dread. Jennifer's voice trembled, frightened that she might turn out like me. Or worse, that others will experience what I did with her. Something within Sarah's chest began to ease. What is her name? Lucy. If you're concerned about Lucy, Sarah said thoughtfully, then you've already grown into a better person than you were at 17. Jennifer brushed away her tears. How can you be so serene regarding all matters? Sarah brushed her fingers against her mask. Because I refuse to conceal myself any longer. I am deciding who perceives me and in what manner. The grand ballroom doors swung open, revealing Marcus in all his glory. All is well here. All right, Sarah replied with sincerity. Jennifer was sharing some insights about her daughter. A glimmer of comprehension crossed Marcus's face. He extended his arm to Sarah, prepared to dive back in. In that moment, Sarah's gaze shifted from Jennifer to Marcus. I believe it's time for a new chapter. She extended her hand toward the mask's fastening. Do you really think so? Marcus murmured. Sarah gave a slight nod. Certain injuries require exposure to the elements for proper recovery. With careful precision, she loosened the ribbons that secured Elena's masterpiece. The mask peeled away gradually, unveiling her face, complete with braces and glasses, to Jennifer's astonished stare. Greetings, Jen, Sarah murmured gently. It has been some time. The quiet lingered between them, an untraveled path yearning for footsteps. On a crisp Monday morning, just 3 days post-ball, Sarah found herself in the surgical prep room, intently examining her patient's scans. Emily Crawford, aged 6. The urgent situation from the previous week. She had assumed there was no connection to Marcus. Is Dr. Chun available? A nurse peeked in. The uncle has arrived to complete the consent forms. Sarah acknowledged with a slight nod, her gaze fixed elsewhere. Let him come in, Sarah. She halted at the sound of the recognizable voice. As she turned gradually, her gaze landed on Marcus in the doorway, his attire a far cry from the polished image of a CEO, appearing instead in disheveled clothing. Is that your uncle, Emily? Indeed. He swept his fingers through his hair. This morning I realized you were her surgeon. Sarah glanced over the scans once more. The intricate facial fractures resulting from a car accident. The intricate restoration required. Why didn't you speak up? I wanted to ensure you felt at ease. He moved in, examining the visuals intently. Additionally, I just discovered that this is the surgical center I supported financially. Sarah's gaze shot upward. Excuse me? Unidentified contribution? What about the previous year? He locked his gaze with hers. I had no idea you were part of this place. The elements fell into alignment. The latest tools, the broadened initiative, the nameplate she walked by each morning. Crawford Children's Surgical Center. Indeed, she succeeded. This situation feels quite uncomfortable. Sarah, I need to prepare for surgery. She collected her notes. The forms will be brought to you by the nurse. Hold on. He grasped her arm softly. Your trust means a lot to me. It's not about the game, the meals we share, or any of those things. Your body of work has earned my trust, as I have thoroughly engaged with each of your published papers. I'm aware of your exceptional abilities. She gazed at his hand resting on her arm. I must get this right. You shall not. He let her go. What about Sarah? Thanks a lot. To remove the mask on Friday. To reveal your true self to the world. Her mind wandered to the image of Jennifer's face. Among the discussions that ensued, of ancient scars finally starting to mend. Your niece, she stated with assurance, is in capable hands. I'm aware. He grinned. Your hands belong to you. Once he departed, Sarah revisited Emily's scans. A message from Elena appeared on her phone. What is it like, champion, to be recognized? Sarah caressed her face. Unveiled. Unguarded. Just a skilled professional ready to perform her craft with precision. Feels just right, she replied. Then she prepared to scrub in. Is that you, Uncle Marcus? Emily's delicate voice was obscured by the layers of bandages. Will I return to looking like my usual self? Marcus glanced away from his laptop, having spent the last 3 days working remotely from the hospital room. Sarah's surgery was a success, yet the path to recovery would require patience. Hey there, you already seem absolutely wonderful to me. However, the other children will feel a twinge of envy, he concluded, as he settled onto her bed. For you possess a courage that surpasses theirs all put together. A sudden knock at the door broke the silence. Sarah stepped inside, tablet clutched tightly, her white coat immaculate even at this late hour. How is my favorite patient doing? She inquired, monitoring Emily's vital signs. Dr. Chun brings me comfort, Emily shared with Marcus. She has braces as well, Sarah said with a smile, adjusting her glasses. Absolutely, and can you believe it? I faced teasing about them during my younger years as well. Is that so? Emily brightened. What actions did you take? I chose to pursue a career as a surgeon specializing in facial reconstruction. Sarah took a seat beside Emily. Sometimes, the most resilient individuals are those who truly understand the experience of feeling out of place. Marcus observed the scene before him, his niece alongside the woman he had once been hesitant to truly acknowledge during their high school days. Sarah locked eyes with him, and an unvoiced connection lingered in the air. Emily requires some downtime, while Sarah maintained her composure, the professional facade firmly in position. We will conduct another assessment tomorrow. Dr. Chun, Emily's voice echoed just as Sarah approached the door. Could you share more tales with me tomorrow? On the topic of uniqueness? Sarah hesitated for a moment before turning around, her smile warm and sincere.
Yes, sur you.
Once Emily drifted into slumber, Marcus discovered Sarah in her office, meticulously going over the post-op notes. He expressed his gratitude with a quiet, straightforward acknowledgement. She raised her gaze. For the procedure to demonstrate to my niece that uniqueness can be lovely. Sarah placed her pen on the table. At the ball, when I removed the mask, it wasn't merely for the eyes of others. It was an unveiling for myself as well. What did you observe? The authentic version of myself has always been sufficient. She locked her gaze with his. I simply required the appropriate audience to notice it. Marcus moved in closer. I understand it clearly now. It's always preferable to arrive eventually, she murmured gently. They remained in that moment, at last perceiving one another with clarity, devoid of any facades. You really don't need to do this, Marcus remarked, observing Sarah as she meticulously organized the files on her desk. A week had gone by since Emily's surgery. Indeed, I do. She raised an envelope high. The hospital board must arrange a meeting with their anonymous benefactor. Sarah, the Crawford Children's Surgical Center requires an expansion. She stood tall, adjusting her lab coat with precision. And the one it's named after ought to witness precisely what his investment has created. They strolled through the pediatric ward side by side. Sarah highlighted the new equipment, introduced the team, and guided him through the waiting room where parents endured anxious hours. Every pause unveiled yet another dimension of the universe she had crafted in this place. And this, she paused at a wall adorned with children's artwork, is our collection of courageous expressions. Marcus examined the illustrations, self-portraits created by patients, some completed before surgery and others afterward. In every instance, the child had illustrated themselves beaming with joy. Emily's will be up there shortly, Sarah murmured gently. She is currently engaged in the task. I had no idea, Marcus confessed. Upon making the donation, my sole intention was to offer assistance. She faced him, acknowledging that he had done more than just assist. You provided children like me an opportunity to be perceived in a new light, to view themselves in a new way. A nurse rushed in with charts that needed Sarah's signature. As she examined them, Marcus observed her, assured, attentive, entirely in her zone. A soft voice whispered, Dr. Chun. They glanced over to spot Emily, meandering along with her mother. The bandages had shrunk, exposing the skin beneath that was mending beautifully. Check it out, Emily gestured towards her progress chart. Just 2 more days until the next round of bandages comes off. Sarah lowered herself to meet her gaze. And you're showing incredible courage, just as we discussed. Emily acknowledged with a nod, her gaze shifting to Marcus. Uncle Marcus, have you come to visit Dr. Chen's unique spot as well? In fact, Sarah responded while on her feet. Uncle Marcus played a crucial role in creating this remarkable place. Emily's eyes grew large with surprise. Truly, Marcus remarked. However, Dr. Chun transformed it into something extraordinary. Are we working together as a unit? Emily inquired. Sarah and Marcus shared a knowing look. Indeed, Sarah murmured gently, as a cohesive unit. Once Emily departed for her physical therapy, they remained in a tranquil silence, observing the bustling hallway. Well, Marcus finally said, it's common for teams to grab coffee together. Sarah arched an eyebrow. Are you trying to hint at a date with me? Once more, this time without any rehearsals or disguises. She feigned contemplation. I suppose I could schedule you in. However, Marcus, indeed, I continue to enjoy my coffee without any additions. He grinned. I recall. Tom Martinez lingered in his office at Valley High, his gaze fixed on his phone. Displayed on the screen was an image that Sarah had shared on the hospital's professional network. Emily Crawford, with her bandages off, beams next to Dr. Chun and her uncle, the donor. At last, the truth has been revealed? Diana inquired from the threshold. What is the topic? The contributions you make each month to her department. Tom slipped his phone into his pocket. Not at this moment. When will it be? Shortly. He rose, collecting his belongings. However, today is not that day. As Sarah wrapped up her rounds at the hospital, Marcus showed up, holding 2 steaming coffee cups. Still dark? He extended one to her. Is it still flawless? She savored a sip. Emily's discharge documents are prepared. That's precisely the reason for my presence. He squirmed in his seat. She is inviting you to her welcome home celebration. Is that you, Marcus? Just like her physician, he quickly added. Take your time. Sarah observed him intently as she sipped her coffee. What if I chose to arrive as something different? What do you mean? Like an individual who's finally prepared to cease rehearsing and begin experiencing life. Marcus placed his cup on the table. It seems the moment has finally arrived. From the nurse's station, Tom observed in silence. The device vibrated with a sudden notification. A communication from the hospital's contribution platform. Monthly contribution has been successfully processed. With a subtle smile, he composed a brief reply and slipped away silently. Some masks, he concluded, might linger a bit longer. In the hospital corridor, Sarah and Marcus stood side by side, their coffee cups neglected, as they contemplated a future that had taken them both by surprise. Behind them, Emily's artwork adorned the wall, showcasing a gallery of courageous expressions. A sketch featuring herself, her uncle, and her doctor, all beaming with joy and without masks. As Tom drove away, he pondered how often the most captivating tales seemed to unfold on their own. The annual fundraiser for the Crawford Children's Surgical Center was bustling with activity. Sarah positioned herself at the podium, speaking to the assembly of donors and medical personnel. A year ago, this center served as a sanctuary for recovery. Today, it has evolved into a realm of change. In the audience, Marcus sat next to Emily, who was now fully recovered and beaming with pride as she displayed her science fair medal. Beside them, Tom Martinez fidgeted anxiously in his seat. 2 anonymous benefactors have been with us since the start, Sarah continued. One came to light last year. She offered Marcus a warm smile. The other has stayed in the shadows, providing monthly contributions that have benefited countless children. Tom clenched the armrest of his chair. Today I was approached by that second donor. Sarah's voice softened, revealing a truth that, much like many aspects of life, was about someone who had been present all along, seeking to make amends in his own manner. She motioned towards Tom, who rose gradually. The crowd erupted in applause, yet his gaze was solely fixed on Sarah's face. Comprehension, absolution, and a sense of tranquility. Following the ceremony, they convened in Sarah's office. Marcus, Tom, and Sarah. On her desk rested Elena's mask, transformed into a work of art instead of a shield. A decade of contributions, Sarah remarked to Tom. Why was I not informed? It was never about me, Tom responded. It was about setting things straight. With a playful grin, Marcus inquired. That section was spontaneous. Tom wore a smile. Yet, there are moments when the most profound healing arises from the most surprising sources. Sarah grasped the mask, its intricate silver filigree shimmering in the light. In the context of healing, Elena inquired about the possibility of showcasing this in her studio as a reminder that certain masks are intended to be fleeting. What did you say to her? Marcus inquired. I agreed. Sarah placed the mask aside. I've moved on from it. Beyond her office window, the hospital thrived with activity. Emily's artwork remained displayed on the wall of courageous expressions, now accompanied by many others. Every narrative unfolds a tale of change, of recovery, of visages finally recognized in their true light. "How about dinner?" Marcus proposed. Afterward, Sarah smiled with her black coffee in hand. Tom observed their departure, then retrieved his phone. The hospital's donation portal illuminated the screen. His finger lingered above the reveal donor button, then pressed it decisively. Some masks, he concluded, had fulfilled their role for quite some time.